Hey, I'm John, the indoor garden guy from AeroGarden. We're back just 4 weeks after planting this gourmet herb seed kit in the AeroGarden. We're going to check in, see how our plants are doing, and what we need to do this week to keep it growing healthily. So the first thing we're going to do is check our control panel to see if it's telling us we need to do anything. And if you look right here and right here, our add water lights and our add nutrient lights are blinking. And what that means is that we're going to go ahead and add some water and add some nutrients. So let's check in. Now you can see that we need to add just a little water this week, but anytime that nutrient light is on, we're going to add water. Now we'll add in one of our 8 ml nutrient packets. We just shake it up and pour it in. Now we'll check in with our plants, which have really done wonderfully since last week. You can see how much they've grown, how well they're doing. We'll probably even harvest a little more basil tonight. Let's check in plant by plant. Right up front we've got our oregano, which is looking pretty good. And it is starting to grow so much that it's starting to shade into our globe basil down here. Maybe if we put that right over like this, it's going to get full light without crowding anything else out. Now the next thing we'll check out is our thyme, which is looking really good and is honestly ready for a small harvest. We've got our mint back here, which is looking great. Nice and compact, it's doing real well back there. Next we'll check in on our dill, which is growing pretty well back here behind the jungle, but it is slower than other plants. The best thing we can do to help this dill along is just get in a place where it gets full sun. We're going to turn the pod just right like that. It's getting full sun, it's getting the full light from the AeroGarden sun, and it's going to grow really well from here as long as we keep that light on it full. Back here we've got our lemon basil, and I'm showing that next because I want to show you what happens when we do go ahead and prune something. And you can see with that lemon basil where we pruned last week, we pruned right there and right there. Where there was one stem before, you've now doubled your basil. You've got 2 stems growing, and you can see how much that grew in just 1 week. Next week it's going to be even bigger, even bushier, and ready for even more harvest. We're going to let it go for another week. And that brings us to our other basil plant, our Genovese basil over here in the corner. Now Genovese basil has really grown well, but it too is ready for some pruning. We're going to turn that 1 stem into 2 stem on that plant too, and I'll show you just how we do it. In the Genovese basil, we're going to look for that same leaf node that we saw last week in the lemon basil, right here above this place where there's 2 little leaves coming out. And if we go ahead and snip right there, it's going to allow this to turn into 2 basil plants, if you will, 2 stems of basil, and really turn into a nice, bushy, compact growing, high producing basil plant. The globe grows in this nice, compact, bushy shape. It doesn't need much pruning at all. You can just kind of trim it like a hedge and snip off exactly what you want to eat. And in this case, we'll just take a little trimmings off to use them in the salad tonight. So now is when the garden really starts to grow. So please check back with us next week, week 5. In the meantime, if you have any questions, give me a shout. Ask the expert at aerogrow.com. Thanks very much. Happy gardening.